Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the joyous and exceptional Russell Brand.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for that welcome. Thank you for that introduction, mysterious disembodied voice from the wings. I'm very happy to be with you tonight, and I would be at any time, but particularly now because, you know, live in the moment and everything. It's one of our key messages. I'm honoured to... Oh no, excuse me. I mean, in spite of the deep spiritual journey that I've undertaken in the last 14 months, I still do care if my trouser leg's outside my boots. That's not meant to be like that. In spite of the transcendence, there are still sartorial considerations that have to be observed. I mean, within us all, there is limitless light and potency and the potential for absolute enlightenment and limitless creativity, but people won't listen if they're thinking, why is one of his trouser legs tucked in? The medium is the message, some people say. It's a thing I've heard said anyway. So, thank you for attending this Change Begins Within event. Firstly, I suppose I would like to tell you about how I came to be involved with the David Lynch Foundation, Bobby Roth, and some of the other beautiful, mysterious individuals, some of whom you'll be familiar with, others you'll acquire familiarity of over the course of the evening. I've done a press conference this morning with several veterans who have been helped by this program and by the process of transcendental meditation, and also some doctors who espouse the benefits of these principles, and I fell out of my depth, for one thing, because like when some people are talking about like post-traumatic stress disorder, and other people are talking about how their Harvard degrees could be tossed out the window on the basis of some of the evidence that they've encountered through transcendental meditation, I was thinking, you know, what am I going to come up with? I did think about lying, and saying I'd been involved in a war. Thought maybe I could get away with the Falklands, I'm English and that. People might not know much about it. But I think it's pretty easily ascertainable from my walk that I've spent little time in the military. Few people, in fact, return from the Middle East saying, I think the worst thing about the time we spent during that war was sometimes our fatigues would get caught in our boot and it was asymmetrical. It's much, much more serious and powerful than that. And in fact, the David Lynch Foundation, I have observed, has focused its attention and its philanthropy in areas of society most in need of benefit. Schools, homeless people, the native people of this country, and of course the military. Now I, as you have already clearly gathered, am not qualified to talk in detail about the humanitarian aspects of this charity, but I can talk personally about what the foundation has meant for me and what the practice of TM has done for me. I met Bob Roth and David on account of I was making a documentary about the search for happiness from the perspective of someone. I grew up with not much money, wanted to be famous and stuff, got some money and some fame, and discovered, to my chagrin and astonishment, that that did not fulfill my desire for happiness. Yeah, so like I wanted to be famous, wanted to be rich, wanted to acquire money. In fact, a lot of the social ideas that are sold by our culture, I bought into. Grew up in a modest suburban area and thought, yeah, fame, all these glistening trinkets. And it would be difficult, wouldn't it, to ignore the cacophony of fame, this all-pervasive racket of consumerism that surrounds us, the glistening billboards, the endless racket of the music. It's constant, all-encompassing. And I thought, oh, that's the dream, that's the thing I want to acquire, material things. But as the name of this event suggests, change begins within. So like while making that documentary In Search of Happiness, I went off to meet Bob Roth off in Fairfield. Iowa, and yeah, that's a mad trip, that place. A lot of people are admittedly deeply enlightened. Like, you know, you meet Bob, and a lot of people that have been educated, they're beautiful children that have spent their life free from the kind of cultural influences that I've personally encountered, and you can see a light in their eyes. And Bobby Roth taught me to meditate, and there's some, you know, and it's a very sort of, like, you know, I know the Foundation are very keen to focus on the practical elements of it because that's more applicable and it's non-denominational, so it's more useful to more people. But I'm interested in the spiritual elements of this Transcendental Meditation program, and that's where I found it most fulfilling. Get there, Bobby Roth takes you off, teaches you Transcendental Meditation, a lovely process. You're given a mantra, which you mustn't tell anybody. That's really hard, eh? Because I've got a really good one. You can't tell no one your mantra. That's really difficult at first. And when I met some of the children in Fairfield, I was like, oh, it's difficult, isn't it, that you can't tell no one your mantra? And like this girl agreed with me. She said, yeah, like I found it really hard as well, Russell. So, you know, it is difficult. Like when you first get your mantra, because you want to tell everybody, about it. And I goes, yeah, yeah. How old were you when you learned to meditate? She was 5, though. I was in my 30s. I'm behind emotionally. The process for me, though, having now acquired, I've been practicing for 14 months, is really, really beautiful. I've found that there is an ever-present sanctuary within me, and presumably, if it's within me and with the other people who you'll hear talking later, it's within us all. And whilst the philanthropic work of the Foundation rightly focuses on those most in need, what is also evident is the capacity within each of us to acquire access to this phenomenal spiritual, emotional, psychological, physical resource that has medical benefits that you'll hear about, that has psychological benefits that may not be evident when watching me talk, because you'll think, we're in the hands of a madman. But as you hear some of the other speakers tonight, you'll realise the sort of the potency of this practice, how it helps creativity, you know. And for me, yeah, I've discovered that there's limitless compassion within all of us, that there's limitless creativity within all of us, that there is absolute oneness, that we have access to it at any time. Now, I think the things you'll hear about tonight are a lot more pragmatic. You know, that's like some of the things you'll hear about from some of the doctors and veterans and brilliant and articulate speakers that are coming up later. But, you know, my personal experience of it has been, yeah, like losing myself. If you don't know already, you will surely be intuiting that I spent a long time as a drug addict. And, sort of crack, heroin, they're all right at first. But there are some, I mean, I don't know if you know this, there are some detrimental side effects if used long term. Terrible for the teeth, headaches. Heroin, for example, is very Moorish. If taken consistently, you'll really get a taste for it. It'll be hard to let go of. I'm not endorsing heroin. In fact, I'm doing the opposite, reckon. If you leave here with one message tonight, it's learn TM. But if it was 2, learn TM and don't take heroin.